to my channel. Truly, I feel like I've been slacking really badly on my reading, at least physical reading. With audiobooks, I've been an audiobook machine. I've been cranking out like 2 a week because I drive so much. I'm just always on the go. Like, I'm always listening to something, like walking to class, driving to work, and everything like that. So really, audiobooks have been my best friend, but my physical reading has really slacked off because if I'm not at school or work, I'm doing homework, I'm writing my book, I'm just doing anything but like physically reading, and I just miss that feeling so much. And because of that, like, yes, I've read a lot of books recently, but I haven't read a lot of books recently. Like, I've listened to a lot of books recently, and I'm not going to go into the whole like, are audiobooks reading debate. This is not what this video is, because to me audiobooks are reading. I'm still reading books, I'm just listening to them. I just miss sitting down, holding a physical book, and like consuming the story, like reading the words. I just really miss that feeling, and I feel like fall is the best time. It's like the perfect reading weather, you know? So this video will hopefully cure me of that by encouraging me to like force myself to read pages every day. So I will be challenging myself to read a certain amount of pages every day based on what the spinner wheel picks for me. So here it is. Hopefully you can see it okay. I feel like the lighting's kind of strange, but I have a range of different amounts of pages on here. So it goes 50, 75, 100, 150, 200. Truly, I want to go higher. Like, I'm always very ambitious, so I want to aim for like 250, 300 pages, but like that's just really not feasible with my current lifestyle right now. I think I'll barely have time to hit 100 pages most days, so we're not going to go too crazy, but I'm going to spin this every day and see what I get, and that will be the amount of pages I read each day, which will hopefully allow me to like actually finish some books. I feel like I've been reading the same books for months, which has been a problem for longer than the month of September, by the way. So my TBR for this video, I have been reading The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig for a little over a month, I think, almost 2 at this point. It's really, really bad. I hate this habit. I just really want to break it, which is why I'm doing this challenge. But I love this book so far. Rachel Gillig is definitely one of my top favorite authors now. I just have not had time to like sit down and like fully commit myself to this book, even though I've been absolutely loving it. But I'm on page 130, so chapter 11. So I've made a little bit of progress into it. I definitely just need to sit down and like be consistent with it. I feel like every time I've sat down and read this, I always have to get up and do something else instantly. So this is actually going to be like my top priority. My goal is to finish it in this video, in this week. And then my current audiobook is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, but I have also like sat down and read this physically, so I'm not really sure if I want to count this in the page goal because it's mainly an audiobook for me, and my goal is to like not count audiobooks for this. It's only physical reading. So I think if I sit down and read this physically without the audiobook, I'll count those pages, but like anytime I'm listening to it, driving or whatever, that will not count towards the page goal. Even though it is still reading, it's not reading actual pages, if that makes sense. So my goal really isn't to finish this. This is kind of just like, I will sit down and read a couple pages if I'm really feeling pulled towards it, but like, it's mainly my audiobook. And then I've also been reading an e-arc for a couple months as well. But it is on my iPad. It's called Kissed by the Gods by Katie Rogan. It's a romantasy book that actually just came out a couple days ago, like last week of September. This follows the main character Lena, who is the first female like guardian with magic powers of this, I don't think it's an academy necessarily, but of this establishment. And so she has to train with them, and she has to kind of adjust to being the first female in like the military ranks essentially. It's actually a really, really well written book. I've really enjoyed it so far. I've just been reading it so slowly, so I just now hit like 50%, and I've been reading this for over a month because I was just not really engaged with it. I just really couldn't get into it, but now that I've read more, I've kind of forced myself to sit down with it more. I'm really into this book. I'm really liking it. I really like Lena as a main character. I did think about DNFing this for some time, but I think I'm going to push through and see how much I get. So yes, this technically is not pages turned, like it's not a physical book, but like I'm still like flipping the page, and like, you know, it is a page I can turn. So I'm on page 327 of 612, so I'm a little over halfway through. I would really like to finish this as well. It is currently about 7 o'clock right now, so I will absolutely not be starting this challenge tonight. I have other things I need to do, but I'm going to spin for tomorrow and see how much I get. So my only plans for tomorrow is one class, and I work like at night. I close tomorrow night, so potentially I will have a lot of time to read depending on what the number is. I am also going to a haunted house tomorrow night, so that'll be fun, but I think I'll have a lot of reading time. I really think I can do it, and starting on a good note would obviously be great. I don't know what number I'm hoping for. I'm kind of just not gonna hope for anything, and we get what we get, and we make a plan. The moment of truth, let's spin. 75. Okay, that's great. That's actually not bad at all. I'm very happy with that. I think the easiest way to go about this is going to be my iPad, just because it is the most transportable and accessible, but also because I don't like bringing this copy of The Night and the Moth anywhere because it's my Pretty Fairy Loot edition and I don't want to ruin it. So I will be reading either of these books tomorrow. We'll just have to see how the day goes. Hey everybody, it is Saturday. I'm at my boyfriend's house and we're going to a pumpkin patch today. Kind of like a farm thing, but we're mainly gonna pick pumpkins and then we're gonna come home and carve them and watch Halloween. And if we get some apple cider, I guess we'll drink some of that, which will be really, really fun. And I'm super excited. So first, before I get into my reading updates, I want to show you my outfit. So here it is. I was gonna wear a different jacket, but there was a stain on it because we went to a haunted house last night and I think I rubbed against some paint or something. So that's unfortunate, but it's hot, so I probably won't even wear this. But yeah, and then my boots. But anyways, I did successfully hit my page count goal yesterday, which I was very happy about. However, it did take me like all night. It took me quite a bit to actually reach the goal, but I did reach it, and that's the most important part. So I ended up reading 76 pages, which I had drawn 75 pages, so it's only one page over. I barely made it, but I did make it. So I read about 34 pages of The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, and this book has me kicking my feet and giggling. Like, it is so good. I was at work reading this, and it was just me, and I was just like I had the time to like do like audible reactions. And it was just so fun. I freaking love these characters. Oh my gosh, the banter between the main character and Rory, who's I guess the love interest male main character. It's so good. And the gargoyle is so cute. I know I've said that in another vlog, but like I'm obsessed with this book. I'm just reading it so slowly, which is really the reason I'm doing this challenge, is so I can try and finish this because I've been reading it for so long. And then to get the rest of my pages, I read a bit more of Kissed by the Gods on my iPad. I read about 71-ish pages. Like I started at 346 and I got to 388. Is that 40 pages? I think that's 40 pages. I can't do math. But I'm about 63% of this book, so I'm really, really getting close to finishing it, and it has gotten a lot more interesting. I still feel like I would have a better time reading this if I was reading it physically. I think it might be because it's on the iPad that I'm kind of like disconnected from it. I really don't know what it is. It is just really long. I think that also might be what it is. But I also am really enjoying it because it's a fantasy romance, but the fantasy is actually at the forefront. Like, it doesn't just feel like a setting. The romance has been like kind of a slow burn so far. So it feels a lot more like intriguing, and like the payoff of everything is a lot better. And that's the type of fantasy romance books I like. I really don't like when the fantasy is just a setting. I've DNF'd a lot of books like that, so this is being promising. I'm excited to see the ending. And this was not counted towards my page count, but I did read a lot more of My Dark Vanessa on audiobook. This is like not the most enjoyable read, not because it is bad, just because the content is so uncomfortable. It is very, very icky. If you don't know, this is about the main character Vanessa, who goes to a boarding school where she's essentially like groomed by her teacher, Sorry, my boyfriend just looked at me and gave me like such a crazy look. It was really funny. Not that the content is funny, but it was just funny. And so it is flicking back from past to present, where a lot of other girls are coming forward and like accusing this teacher of also abusing them. And so the main character, Vanessa, is having to kind of like reconcile her feelings and kind of put herself into the story. It's like, do I want to like publicly accuse him, or do I want to like keep this for me? Because in a way I don't want to say she wanted it, but like that's what the story makes us believe, is that she was willing to enter this relationship with him. It's really complicated. It is really like an uncomfortable read and really hard to read at times. Like there's a lot of times when I'm just like really disgusted and it feels really hard to read, but overall it's really well written and I am enjoying it the best I can. But enough of that, it is time to spin for another number. And I'm really hoping I don't get 200 because we have a lot to do today. Like we're going to the pumpkin patch, we need to decorate for Halloween, like more. We have more decorations to put up and we might like watch a movie or something. So I do want to read today, but like I don't want to just like neglect the other fun stuff I'm doing so I can get my pages. Like the goal is to read a lot, but I don't want to just like, you know. So let's spin. I really cross my fingers. Please give me a low number. Okay, 100 pages. That's not that bad. I feel like that is doable. I did struggle with 75 a bit yesterday just because I was working and I had class and everything. So it was a lot easier for me to listen to the audiobook. But I feel like 100 pages is doable, especially since it's just like no work today. Like it's just fun stuff today. So I'm not really gonna like set a goal for how much I want to get in any book. I think I would love to read more of The Night and the Moth just because I'm super into it right now and we left off on a really good part. And then I think Kissed by the Gods will just be like if I need a break or something like that. So I'll talk to you later. So it is Wednesday, October 1st, and I have been failing miserably at this reading X amount of pages for a day challenge because truly, I kind of forgot I was filming it. I've been so busy these past couple of days, and I know I say that in literally every clip so far, but truly, every free moment of time I have had since Saturday has been to do homework or to write my book. So I've had a lot of stuff going on. I feel like I've used that as an excuse recently and I feel really bad. So I'm really trying to get back on top of my reading. But it's been hard. I feel like I've had a lot of issues focusing recently, especially because my classes this semester, it's not like they're hard, but they're definitely more intense. I'm at like my second to last German language class and it just takes a lot of brain power. We're speaking a lot in German, so like I'm focused on that and like it's really difficult for me. So I feel like I just come home exhausted every day. And then there's some days where I work before I go to class, so it just takes a lot of life out of me. So anytime that I'm like, okay, I can sit down and read, I just go to bed. I'm just so tired all the time. But I am going to continue doing this challenge because I would like to stick to it. I feel like it's fun. It's a fun video concept. So on Saturday when I filmed that clip, I said we were going to the pumpkin patch and we did. It was such a fun time. You saw the clips. It was really a lot of fun and we carved our pumpkins. That day I think the wheel gave me 100 pages to read. I ended up not reading at all on Saturday. It ended up being way busier than I thought. We were there for a long time, and then as soon as we got home, we decorated more of the house, like we did the outside area, and then we went straight into carving our pumpkins. We watched a movie, we had dinner, and then we went to sleep. Like, it was a very busy day. Sunday I was planning on doing the challenge, but I literally slept all day. Like, I needed that day to catch up on sleep. I don't know what it was. It was like I had what's it called, narcolepsy. Like, I just kept nodding off and I just let it happen because I'm like, Sunday is the one day where I don't do anything. Like, I had homework to do and I did it, but like, it's the one day I have where like it's an excuse to do nothing. So I really wanted to read, but I really needed to sleep. Like, I would not be able to function if I didn't do that. And then every day I've tried to read since has not gone well for me. And then on Friday of this week, I leave for a small trip with my family, so I'm going to be gone until Monday, and it's going to be hard to read. Although it might be easier because I won't be doing homework, so potentially I could read more then. I don't really know. So I feel like I'm at this dilemma where I want to spin for a number of pages, but like the chances of me actually sticking to that are very, very low, and I just don't want to disappoint you. Like, I know you won't really be disappointed, but like if the title of the video is reading this amount of pages and I don't do that, I feel like I'm letting you down. But I guess before I make up my mind, I'm going to take you through any reading updates I have, which I have quite a bit. So sadly, I have not touched any more of The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig since I last updated you, which is really sad because I'm in love with this book. But yeah, it's just been really hard to devote my attention to this. Mainly, I think the big issue is that I refuse to have it leave my house because it's a beautiful edition and I'm scared of getting it ruined. So that's definitely, I think, the biggest problem. So that is definitely my top priority. I would love to finish that anytime. But then I actually did finish My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell this morning. So I guess I can take my bookmark out now. But this was my audiobook, so I wasn't really counting it towards the amount of pages I read. But when I did start this video, I basically finished this entire book. This was such a unique and really like interesting read. Definitely check like the content warnings because I didn't have any issues with it, but I was still listening to this book and like audibly gagging or just like like tensing, like feeling so uncomfortable. It's definitely very disturbing content, so warning for that. The overall writing of this was very well done. I really enjoyed this author's writing style. I feel like it gave me a great sense of Vanessa as a character, seeing the way her choices reflected like her mindset and how she had been affected by these events. If you don't know, basically Vanessa is groomed by her high school English teacher and it affects her for her entire life. So it flits between past and present, where in the present these other girls are coming out with allegations against the same teacher. So she's kind of left to face her past and like where she fits into what's going on currently. And yeah, it was really, really interesting. I definitely recommend it. It's definitely a serious read and I recommend being in like a right headspace to read this. Like, I don't think it's the worst possible book to read that will like mess you up, but the content is definitely like not fun to read about. So, but overall I really, really loved it. I did give it 5 stars, which is kind of big because I feel like it's rare for me to give a book 5 stars, but truly I was just so engaged with this. Like, anytime I wasn't listening to it, that's all I was thinking about. And I definitely see myself like thinking about this all the time and just constantly it being in the back of my mind. Like, it's one of those books that is going to last. And then I'm still reading my ARC. I don't know where my iPad is, but it is Kissed by the Gods by Katie Rogan. And I think I'm almost 70% through. Truly, I don't know what it is about this book that's taking me so long. I think it's just because it's like on my iPad. So it's just taking me forever. Like, it's a 600-page book, which normally is not going to take me that long. I feel like if it's a fantasy and I'm really engaged with it, I'll read it pretty quickly. But I think I'm just like, I'm number one ready to be done with this, so it's kind of affecting how much I want to read it. And I really don't know what it is. Like, I'm enjoying it, the story's really good, but there's some things that I'm like, wait, why are we jumping around like this? And like, there's just some things I wish would have been done differently, which I will go more in depth about when I like finish this book, but I'm just having some issues with it. So I don't really think I'm going to pick up a new audiobook yet after finishing My Dark Vanessa. I kind of just want to take a break from audiobooks because I have really been grinding with them. Like, the past couple books I finished have been audiobooks, which is great, but I miss physical books, so I'm taking a break to listen to my spooky podcast, which I miss, so that's okay with me. But I think I also want to start a new physical read. I definitely think that is kind of a mistake because I've struggled with The Night and the Moth so much, and I don't really see myself having time to read another physical book. However, I want to bring one with me on my trip because it's only for a couple days, so I don't really see myself finishing a book. I don't think we'll have much downtime, but I don't want to bring this copy because the last thing I want this to do is be ruined. If I won't even let it leave my house, like where I live, the last thing I'm gonna do is take it on a plane, you know? So I think I'm gonna choose another book to read, and I know exactly which one it's gonna be. So I'm really excited because I'm going to start The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I'm so excited to get to this. I did think about picking it up on audiobook, but I did tell myself that I bought the physical copy, so I should read the physical copy. So I'm going to bring this with me on my trip. I really don't know how fast-paced it's gonna be. I don't know how like quickly I'll read it, but truly I'm not worried about that because that leads me into another discussion actually, which is I'm trying to prioritize like slow reading. In one of my English classes we're talking a lot about like literature and like texts and like technologies and how like our current world affects text and like the history of books and whatnot. And so we recently talked about like slow reading, where like our society is so fast paced that we feel like we need to read quickly as well just to like keep up with everything. And I definitely have fallen into that trap, especially with having a YouTube channel like this. I feel like I need to read a lot for a video to be good because I feel like the thoughts about the book and like the process of reading the book is more important than how many books I read. Obviously I want to like give you guys good reviews and like content and whatnot, but it's hard for me to like really zoom through all these books. So I'm trying to be more intentional about the books I read, the quality of the books I read, and then like how I engage with the texts. So I'm not going to set a goal of like when I want to finish this. I would obviously love to read it quickly, but like I'm okay with taking my time with it because it means I will have spent more time digesting it and like being in the story, and that's honestly what I prefer anyways. It's just I feel like I'm so caught up in everything going on that it's hard for me to like take time with the story. But this is also my October TBR, and this is like the #1 book I wanted to get to this month, so I'm very, very excited. So yeah, I have a lot to do tonight, and tomorrow I'm also very busy as well since we leave Friday morning, so I don't really know the next day that I'm going to have time to like sit down and read X amount of pages, but I thought I'd go ahead and spin for that day anyways. So whenever I have that time to like sit down and read that amount of pages, this will be the goal for me. Without further ado, let's do another spin. Uh-oh. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Please something small. 150. Oh, okay. Although actually that might not be too bad because if I'm on a plane, then I can just read more on my iPad, or I can read Rachel Price. That will be my like specific, like my designated reading time will be on the plane. I'm very, very excited, or like waiting for the plane at the gate or whatnot. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't know if it'll actually be then, but I will try and update you with my pages whenever that is. update for you. Unfortunately, it is kind of disappointing because I'm learning I'm very bad at reading challenges. Like, I don't know why, I just cannot stick to them. I think a lot of it is that I just already have too much on my plate right now, and then I'm like, I'm gonna try and read these amount of pages every single day. And then I realize, oh yeah, I also have like 10 homework assignments to do that day too. I don't really know why I do that to myself, but but I did have a great trip over the weekend. It was very, very busy, so I didn't have as much reading time as I had hoped or I would have liked, but it's okay. We did a lot of sightseeing. We saw a lot of the monuments and the Capitol and went to a lot of the museums in DC, so it was really, really great. I did start Three Pans of Rachel Price, but I'm not going to be talking about that because I literally read like one chapter while I was there. That's another thing. However, I did actually finish a book. I finished reading Kissed by the Gods by Katie Rogan, which is my e-arc I was reading on my iPad. And so the page goal I had set for myself to read while on the trip was, I think, was 150 words, and I most definitely read over 150 words because I read the rest of the book. It was probably about 250 pages, I think. I don't really remember, but I just powered through. So I didn't really have like overall issues with this book. I'd say for the most part it was a really enjoyable read and I do recommend it, but I just really had issues connecting to the characters and just to the world in general. I think it's because I read it over the span of like 2 months while also reading so many other books and schoolwork and everything. It's just my attention wasn't really fully there for the book, and I feel bad because I didn't really give it the attention it deserved, but at the same time I think it might have also been because it was on an iPad, so it wasn't the same experience of reading a physical book. So I did give it 3 stars overall, which is not like a bad rating in my rating scale. It's kind of just like it was an enjoyable read. It definitely wasn't a favorite. I think a lot of people would like it. I just couldn't really get too into it, which was kind of disappointing because I had hoped it would be like a new favorite. But I really liked how the world building was well thought out. Like it felt developed. It wasn't just like used as a fantasy setting. The fantasy aspects and like the political world building actually played a part in the plot and the story, which was really nice because I feel like a lot of romantasy books focus more on the romance and we spend more time with that. With this one, I felt like it was equally balanced, which is what a romantasy book should be. And the romance was slow burn. It was not insta-love. Like, it took probably the majority of the book for these characters to even like admit they might have feelings for each other. So if you do like slow burn, I definitely think this might be a book for you. However, I just couldn't really connect to the male main character, to the love interest. He just seemed kind of boring to me. I don't know what it was. I can't really put my tongue on it, but I don't know, he just seemed really, I just couldn't really get into him. I don't know. I think he's fine, like I think he's well written. He's not like a copy paste of every other romantic female main character. Like, he's not a shadow daddy. He's not really brooding. Like, he kind of is, but he also like, he feels more well fleshed out than just being like a grumpy warrior or whatever. Like, he has depth. I just couldn't get attached to him. So the romance in my eyes wasn't my favorite part. I do think it was good and I'm glad it was a slow burn because the payoff was really nice, but I did kind of like skip over their spicy scenes because I'm like, I don't want to read like a spicy scene of these two characters when like it doesn't feel believable, because then I'm gonna read this and it's not gonna feel convincing and it's gonna ruin the overall book for me, so I did skip those scenes. But I did like the female main character, Lena. I thought she was really well written and very like a very in-depth character. There was a lot of good character work done with her and I felt like she had a great arc. She did seem a little like overpowered at times, and like nothing was really explained except that she was like kissed by the gods. Like, she has these magical powers, but like that's all we get, which there is a second book, but I feel like I would have liked a bit more explanation on things in the first book. And yeah, the end was really fast paced. Like, it was super action packed. It did just feel like it came out of nowhere, which it low-key did. I felt like the author needed like something crazy to happen, like a lot of action to happen. So something random just happened so these characters could go into battle. That was not my favorite part, but it was a good ending. We ended on a plot twist, which was kind of predictable. but really it's okay. It was good. At the end, I just kept getting so frustrated because the male main character was fussing over Lena and like, oh my gosh, you need to go away from this battle, like it's too dangerous, when she clearly is the most powerful person there and she's like killing all the enemies and like clearly is capable of herself, and he's just like, no, Lena, you need to protect yourself. Like, stop fussing over her. Like, she is proving to you right now, she is showing the readers and you that she can do it. So I don't know why you're still on this. Like, I wish you would have just like trusted her, believed in her, or they would have communicated about it. Like, I don't know. I like the world building. I thought the found family between the like cast of warriors was really nice. The setting was nice. A lot of the writing overall was really good too. I don't know. There was something about it. I think it's just I'm kind of in a slump still that I couldn't fully give it my heart, but I did finish it, so that is very good news. I'm happy to be done with that, and I actually have not made any more progress in The Night and the Moth. I have been reading this book for the past like 3 reading vlogs that I've had, which is really frustrating, and I'm sorry that's so like repetitive for you, but I'm just kind of taking my time with this, and I've been kind of lying to myself that I'm like, oh, I need to finish this, oh, I've just been too busy, when really I think I've been too busy, and I've also been kind of like wanting to savor it. Like, I just don't want it to end because I just love this book. It's so good. So I won't be finishing it in this vlog because I'm actually ending it right now. So, although I am just learning that I suck at reading challenges, I hope I can give this like a proper shot when I'm not all caught up in school and everything, because I feel like my attention span is just spread super thin right now, so it was hard for me to fully devote all that time to like reading the pages, because I'm not like a fast reader, but I'm not like a slow reader either. I think I'm kind of in the middle. So for me to like devote that time to reading that certain amount of pages, I just don't really have that right now, which I wish I would have realized when I started filming this. But this is a lesson. This is a lesson overall, and I did have fun. So but yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to have more fall fun content for you soon. I'm definitely planning to do like a spooky book vlog. It's not going to be like horror books or anything, but I have a lot of books for like specifically closer to Halloween that I would really like to read in a vlog. So keep an eye out for something like that. I don't know if it'll be exactly that. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like and drop a comment of like what you're reading, what you've been listening to, kind of like what your favorite fall things have been recently. I would love to know. But yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.